this room catch the mojo. Everybody say mojo. Mojo. Say mojo. Mojo. Say mojo. Mojo. That's right. We're here to talk about how do we get the mojo. How do we develop that contagious momentum that starts with each and every one of us. And it starts on the inside of us and it builds. So that every person that we meet, every person that we can touch, we can affect their lives. And I'm talking about your spouses, your husbands, your wives, your significant others, your kids, your coworkers, your bosses, and even those people that you don't even know. But when they meet you, they know one thing: that person's different. They have the ability to build people up. They have the ability to praise people. They have the ability to inspire people to do more than they ever thought possible. That's what I call the mojo factor. Everybody say mojo. Mojo. So today is about how do we capture that? How do we build that contagious momentum? How do we take it and develop it and begin to rub off on all those people around us? As a matter of fact, I was trying to figure out, how do I teach the mojo factor? How do I show people how to create that in their lives? And so what I did was I created 10 powerful principles, 10 factors that allow us to build the mojo in our life. Now, the factors are things like, number one, the foundation factor. And the foundation factor starts with us individually building our life on solid ground. Now, when I say solid ground, I mean it starts with our honesty, the integrity, and the bottom line is, can people trust you? Can they count on you? Are you one of those handful of people that people can call you in the middle of the night because they can trust you? Does your staff trust you? Do your kids trust you? We start with layering it with the foundation factor. Then we take a look at the vision factor. What vision have we laid out for our lives? Do we have a clear vision? Have we even thought about it before? I think that there's 4 important pieces to the vision factor. And that is, number one, that is your spiritual life. Number 2, that's your family life. Number 3, that's your career. And number 4, and we see this more than ever today, guess what that is? It's our finances. It's our ability to plan out all of those areas so that we can be effective. That's the vision factor. Then we also have a few more factors. One of them is the bridge factor. Now, the bridge factor we're going to talk about quite a bit today, because it's about the communication that we have with other people. It's about, are we building bridges? Are we building barriers? If we build enough barriers, we burn bridges. So we're going to talk about the bridge factor today. We're also going to talk about the perseverance factor today. At first, if you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. And again, and again, and again. See, it takes a certain resistance to failure for us to continue to persist. As a matter of fact, we never fail until we finally quit. When you throw in the towel, that's when it's over. The persistence factor, the perseverance factor. We also have factors like the influence factor. John Maxwell, who's a leadership author and guru, he describes influence like this. He says, it's our ability to influence people, no more and no less. Our ability to influence people. So how much influence do you have? Now, I know for a lot of people, influence, we think of it in a negative way. We think about those people that have misused or have abused their influence. But I'm talking about using influence to move people to a positive action. It's the influence factor. My favorite is the ownership factor. And this is probably the single most difficult factor for all people. You know why? Because it requires us to take ownership for where we are at in our lives. And quite frankly, most of us don't want to do that. Most of us have somebody else that we want to blame, somebody else that's responsible for where we're at. But see, the ownership factor says you must take 100% responsibility for where you're at. And that means understanding that you either created some results or you allowed some results. Some of the actions that we've taken, some of the things that we have done, have created results that have put us in places that we don't like. For some of you go, no, Travis, that's not me. Maybe for you, it's you've allowed some things to happen. You sit back and you've allowed people, things, situations to occur that have created that very same thing. But the exciting thing about ownership is when you take ownership, you can also take charge of your future. Because you are the one that's in control. The success factor means that not only do we have to deserve success, but we have to survive success. And it's our ability to put the work in, the commit, to do the things that we have to do to deserve success. But once we deserve it, then it's about, well, do I survive it? Or do I let the new temptations, the new bullseye that's on my back, and people taking shots at me, do I let that take me down? Success factor. And the reason why I lay these out is because negativity is contagious. Failure is contagious. Mediocrity is contagious. But so is the mojo. So is that energy. So is that passion. So is that excitement. And for many of us, we once had that. We had it. But the battles and struggles of life, the things that we have gone through, feels like they've beaten us down so far that we've lost our mojo. Somebody look at your neighbor and tell them, I want the mojo. Now look at him this time and say it for real. Say, I need the mojo. And for some of you, what you're really realizing is going, I just got to get it back. I got to get back that swagger. I got to get back that confidence. I got to get back what I once had. And today we're going to talk about a lot of things that allow us to bring that back. Matter of fact, there's 3 important pieces to make today the most powerful event that you've been to. The first thing is we have to know it. That means we have to gain the information, the understanding, so that we can know it. Everybody say know it.
No.
The second piece is, then we got to go, well, now that I know it, how does this apply to me? I have to personalize it to myself so tomorrow it can be effective. Everybody say it, own it.
Own it.
So now we got to know it, now we got to own it. And the third piece is, how many of you have been to a seminar, seen a motivational speaker before? Most of you in the room, right? How many of you felt like the day after the seminar you had what I call motivation hangover? You got all excited, you're energized, you're like, oh, I'm going to go change the world, and tomorrow you looked at your inbox and your email and you went, oh, not today. I got too much stuff to do. And you go right back into that same old rut. Everybody say, no more ruts.
No more ruts.
We got to take action. In other words, we got to live it. Everybody say, live it.
Live it.
And now the challenge is we got to find a way to take this information back today and apply it. To do something with it. Many of your employers sent you here today because they wanted you to get fixed. Right? I know. But today's about gathering the information, understanding it, personalizing it, and being able to carry it out. Now the challenge with this is they suggest that from what you hear and what you say the first time, you only retain about 25%. That's a challenge. So that means we've got to say it at least 4 times before we even recognize it, before we even begin to digest it. Matter of fact, some of you have already forgotten the third piece of the know it, the own it, and the live it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say it 4 times in a row. We're going to say it 4 times to get it through so that we can begin to digest it. So on the count of 3, we're going to say know it, own it, live it. We're going to say it 4 times. Ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
We got it. Number 1 is know it.
No.
Number 2 is